Alright, I'm going to tie my favorite egg pattern. This is the Y2K. It's a bicolor egg. What I've heard is that it was originally developed down on the White River in Arkansas by a guide down there as an imitation for Berkeley power bait trout nuggets, which are orange and chartreuse. But it's been a real killer for me. I don't typically carry an egg box. I don't carry a lot of eggs, but especially if I'm out steelhead or lake run trout fishing or really any time of year, I've always got at least one row in all my boxes has some of these guys on it. So in the vise I've got a 2488H in size 12. That's a TMCO hook. And to that I've wrapped on a little base of thread and slid on a gold tungsten bead 1/8 of an inch and super glued that guy in place. Real simple tie. I'm going to lay down a base of fluorescent fire orange thread. This is 140 denier. Before I go on, I'm going to put in a little clear Cure Hydro and glue that in place. And this is important because you don't want those thread wraps slipping on you when you tie in the components of this fly. There's not a lot to them. There's not a lot of thread wraps holding them down, so it's easy to get pretty much all the way done and then try to finish the fly and they'll slip on you. So, alright, really all I need to do is attach 2 different colors of egg yarn and give it a haircut. So, but I like to prep the egg yarn ahead of time. So what I've done is I've taken a standard ply of egg yarn, in this case Niagara Gold, and I've split that in half, so I got half a ply, and then I brushed it out. I brush it out on both ends until I get a nice flat kind of skein of egg yarn. So the gold's going to go on the bottom, so I'm going to flip the fly upside down, and then I'm just going to bring the egg yarn, I'm going to grab the egg yarn, I'm going to push it underneath the thread, bring it up on top of the hook, and let the tension of the thread hold it in place. So I'm going to tighten the thread, and I'm going to make another wrap over the top of it just to help hold it there because I only had half a wrap on it. And then I'm going to come over the top, I'm going to grab one side and I'm going to rotate it. I'm going to grab the front and the back, I'm going to rotate it so that I've got one side of the ply coming out over the front of the hook and the other one split in half by the hook point, like so. Then I'm going to tighten down on it good. I'm going to wrap 2 or 3 nice tight wraps right there. And if it slides, if it rotates on you a little bit, just grab it and twist it back into place. You want it right on the bottom. So then I'm going to flip the fly over. I'm going to come in with my other color, which in this case is an orange. This is kind of the standard color. You can mix any colors that you want. Sometimes I'll do a little lighter one, like a grapefruit one, and sometimes I'll substitute like a cerise or a fuchsia or something for the top one. But that's really the only color patterns that I carry. This is the one I use most, and that is either a steelhead orange or, in this case, the orange that the egg companies call light roe. This is my favorite color combination. This is the one that I fish most. Got Niagara Gold and light roe. So I did the same thing, slid it under the thread, brought it up on top, and let the weight of the bobbin hold it in place. So I'm going to hold everything in place while I tighten on the thread a bit. Then I'm going to put my 2 or 3 nice tight wraps in there. Alright. And maybe one extra. Okay, so before I go on, I want to kind of increase the durability of my fly. and help to anchor that down. So I'm going to come in with my hydro again, and I just want a little bit. I just want the tiniest little drop right in there on that thread on both sides. The hydro will seep into your egg yarn fibers, so that's why you want just a little bit. Then once I got that done, I zap it. Set that stuff. That'll keep it from soaking into the fibers when I'm brushing it down. Cement it down real good. And then I separate my plies in front, orange on top, yellow on bottom. Bring my thread over in between the two plies and up in front of the bead, or behind the bead. Make a couple of wraps just to anchor everything. Alright, and now we're ready to brush everything back. So I'm going to split it up. If I got stuff on the trapped by the hook point, I'm just going to take my scissor points and pull that stuff on the side it needs to be, clear my hook point out. Alright, so I got everything pushed back. I'm going to finish by wrapping a little collar of my fluorescent fire orange, and that'll give me a little egg eye, little egg spot. Throw a whip finish in there. Trim off my thread. Then I'm going to come in with my brush, a dubbing brush, and I'm just going to rotate the vise and brush everything out so it all melts together real nice. If you got something caught around the point of the hook, which happens quite a bit, just take that guy out of there. Brush everything together real nice. So now I got orange on top, yellow on bottom. I'm going to come in with my scissors. I'm going to grab everything. I'm going to pull it up. And I like to come in and trim it just a little bit shorter than the bend of the hook. Cut it right straight across. Alright, if you got little flyers, you can take them out of there or you can leave them, it doesn't really matter. So once it gets wet, it's just going to kind of puff out into an orange and yellow egg anyway. A little more hydro right at the base of the bead and the thread. That way it'll soak into the thread but not your yarn. Set it with the UV. And you're done. Brush it out a little bit more if you want. And you can give it a little bit of haircut if you maybe cut it a little bit long on the bottom and you want to kind of open up that hook gap. To round it off. Really not necessary. There we go. Y2K. Tie some up, put them in your box. Only egg pattern I carry on most days. Works like a charm.